And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. Chinese New Year is approaching pretty soon, and I wanted to combine that with a video game that has a Chinese connection that I really love, and also is on the Sega Genesis, which I've talked about a few times, but it hasn't been getting much love lately on my channel, so I thought I would discuss it. The game in question is this one right here. Uh, I will attempt my best to pronounce the name when I talk about this later on. But it is a Chinese developed game. It was not actually officially published for the Sega Genesis, but it's a fantastic beat 'em up game, and it tells kind of a story about a story from Chinese history. However, to do this introduction properly, what I really need to do is go back a little bit to an arcade game that I really love called Knights of the Round, because it has a strange kind of a connection to this Sega Genesis game. So let's start there. This is Knights of the Round, one of my favorite Capcom arcade classics. It very clearly has a inspiration from a film called Excalibur, which is one of my favorite films of all time. Just the opening intro there where they show the hilt of King Arthur's sword and King Arthur's armor itself, which you will see later, very much straight out of Excalibur. Now, this is kind of a three-player beat-em-up game, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and this is it playing in MAME. I just wanted to show you what the actual arcade game looks like, because I always wanted to play a home version, and there are a couple, but I'm not very happy with them, and that leads to the game that I eventually do want to talk about, which I will get to soon. So first of all, let's throw a couple of quarters in here and play the beginning of Knights of the Round. So once you put in your quarters, you start with your character. You're always, whichever of the three spots you have selected, you get to, like I'm obviously, since I'm player one, I'm on the left-hand side, but after I've put my quarter in and I push the start button, I actually get to choose which character I want to be. Do I want to be Lancelot? Do I want to be Arthur? Or do I want to be Percival? And I've always liked Arthur, so I'm going to go with King Arthur. So we start off the game. Gotta get the wizard. A lot of fun. Great fun with multiple players. Jesus, I'm getting my butt kicked here. There we go. And you break the barrels and you pick up different things. I always found it was weird though, whenever I fight these guys in armor, they make a weird sort of Pac-Man Waka Waka sound. Don't understand that, but that's very distinctive for the Knights of the Round game. But yeah, a lot of fun. I play this a lot on my main cabinet. Fantastic game. So you continue to go through, and as you continue to play the game, you can actually level up your three different characters there. And there's some food to, much like Final Fight, there's some abilities there to restore your health. You collect treasure. You use whoever's got the most treasure. You raise your level. Now here's the first boss battle. Never understood why that knight does that little lady laugh there. But he or she is defeated now. Really great thing with this game, you level up whenever you go from level to level, or your character can increase in level and skill, just like a role-playing sort of game. You even get to, if you defeat these guys on horseback, you can get into their horse, which is kind of cool. Of course, if you get hit like that, you get off the horse. I lost my horse. Great little power up there. And now I've leveled up Arthur. And notice how he looks a lot like he does in Excalibur, one of my favorite films of all time. Out on the battlefield. I like how there's like guys fighting in the background to indicate there's like a big war going on. Clearly the game is designed for lots of people playing simultaneously. Like you got a 3-player option there. Everybody's waiting for more coins to be put in at the top. So if you wanted to play Knights of the Round at home, your only option was on the Super Nintendo. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a fantastic home port. I mean, it looks practically the same as the arcade machine. It runs practically the same as the arcade machine. I mean, there's hardly any slowdown. There's the same logo. You know, it's got everything that the arcade machine had, with the exception that only 2 people can play it as opposed to 3. But you got the same characters. You've got the same villains you're fighting against. It's a very, very good home port. My one complaint and a main reason that I kind of got turned off of it, it's not going to be obvious in this because this is just the demo mode. I'll just let you see what the game plays like. Like, look at that. That's practically the same as the arcade machine, except for only 2-player. It's even got that same waka waka sound that the arcade machine had. So, yeah, you would think this is a great home port, and I should love playing it. I would like to, with one exception. I don't like the music. When the Super Nintendo came out, its kind of claim to fame was it had a great chipset for its sound reproduction. And that is very, very true. Compared to what the Genesis is capable of, the Super Nintendo, and I think you can throw any game that's on the same 2 systems, like say Street Fighter, for example, everybody will assure you Super Nintendo's music quality 1,000,000 times better, and I don't dispute that at all. But unfortunately for this game, it is so overpowering and so distracting, I don't enjoy playing Knights of the Round on the Super Nintendo. Let me start a game here, and I'll show you what I mean. And I've already gone through the options. I've tried to reduce the music as much as I can. It doesn't make any difference. Now you would think, okay, that's not so bad, right? That's a standard little ditty for like background video gaming music. What's the big deal? Let me proceed. I'm going to play as Arthur. All fine and good. Starting up the game. Here we go. And I'm going after that magician once again. So here I am. As you can see, looks very much the same. Even bust the barrels, you get the same items out of the barrels. That's great. But he's starting to notice like that music is really kind of distracting compared to the arcade machine. And it just doesn't stop. Like there's no way to turn it down. It shows a number beside it in the options menu, but you can't actually reduce the volume. And I wouldn't mind if it was a little less noticeable, but it really distracts me from the main gameplay. There's my power up for my food. So yeah, not a fan of the home port of Knights of the Round, and unfortunately, it's only available on the Super Nintendo. The Genesis didn't have this game. I would have thought, okay, at least on Genesis, because it has not as good of a sound chip, it won't be a problem, but it doesn't exist on Genesis. You can't get this for Genesis. So I was kind of disheartened by that. However, there is another game very similar to this on the Super Nintendo called The King of Dragons. Let me load that one up here. So here is The King of Dragons, also by Capcom, around the same time, I do believe. And it's another side-scrolling beat-em-up in medieval England, kind of fantasy setting. So let's give this one a try. This one's kind of neat. You got five different characters you can play. I'll just stick with the warrior type. So this guy's, very similar kind of design to the Knights of the Round sort of perspective. And again, the bloody music. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that it's so distracting. Like, I know Nintendo were trying to like sell the features of their new console, but it's just so distracting, and I don't like the sound. I mean, it seems like a silly thing to be complaining about, but I am not a fan of this sound trip, this distracting soundtrack to the game. And just like Knights of the Round, we very quickly got a boss battle here. So I was a bit disappointed. I thought, okay, how can I play Knights of the Round where on a home console without that annoying background sound or music track? I'm not a big fan. I have gone through the options. I have tried to change things. You'll see if I go here, choose the options, that was music set to 0. If I don't know, turn it up, is that going to fix things? No, it's not. It's still got that annoying background music. So I just thought, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe, I know that I have seen some people, some homebrewers have made like Sonic the Hedgehog playable on a Super Nintendo, and I've seen people put Mario on the Sega Genesis, so I thought, okay, maybe somebody's made a version of this for the Genesis that doesn't have the annoying background music. No, they haven't. But when I was posting questions online, this is when people brought up this game for the Sega Genesis. And I'm now going to switch to this one because it's a great discovery. So somebody brought this game to my attention, and here's the name of it there. I'm going to try my best to pronounce it properly. It's pronounced Shui, Feng, Zhuan, and it means Water Margin, Wind and Cloud Chronicles. Quite a mouthful. It was developed by a company Never Ending Soft in 1996, and actually came out just in China. It then was re-released a couple of years ago, but it's not actually an official cartridge for the Sega Genesis. I'm not exactly sure how it was released. I guess maybe by the late 90s, releasing games for the Genesis was easier. There was less. I mean, you'd almost accuse it of being piracy, to be perfectly frank. And in some ways it is. I mean, some of the music is from Final Fantasy VI. Some of the voices are out of Streets of Rage. And it even uses some sound drivers from a game called High Seas Havoc. So it is kind of I'd almost call it a bootleg, but it's such a good game that I don't mind. It's set in ancient China. It allows you to select one of three heroes, just like with Knights of the Round. There's some text that you're about to see on the screen that I'm sure tells what exactly is going on with the story here, and I think it has a connection to an ancient Chinese story. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really know what is going on, and there's no easy way to skip past the text. But once you get into the meat of the game, it's a fantastic brawler, much like Knights of the Round. So let's throw it into the Sega Genesis here and have a little gameplay. So unfortunately, I have no idea what that says. I assume it has something to do with water and with wind and Cloud Chronicles. But you can see here, look, it's a lot like those other two games, like Knights of the Round and also King of Dragons. Anyway, so let's start this game up. I don't know. I assume that means like 1 or 2 players or something. I'll just go with number 1. Great thing is you can choose from one of 3 characters, and I guess to keep with the King Arthur theme, we'll go with this fella here. You can see what all their different strengths are down below. However, here we go. Very, very similar. Pick up the items. He even jumps the same way. Now, I just picked up a little yellow card there. That's actually some bit of magic I can use. For the attacks for this game, I'm just using the B on the controller to do my swing and C to jump. If I hit A, I can actually choose. You see, I just picked up a little circular thing that looks almost like a Yoshi egg there. These are kind of magic items that are in my pouch, and if I want to use one, I'm just going to clear the screen a little bit of the bad guys here just to show you what I mean. But if I want to use either that yellow card that's up there or that little thing that looks like a Yoshi egg, I better do it right now, as a matter of fact. I'm going to hit the letter A, and I can actually... Oh, okay, I got killed. Let's just kill some of these guys off here. If I hit the letter A, that then casts that yellow card spell, and you can see it's spinning there to indicate that got used. Now there's just the Yoshi egg. If I wanted to use the Yoshi egg, I hit A, and it highlights. If I hit A again, it'll use it, but I don't want to use it, so let's just move away. And yeah, it's actually, in some ways, actually better than Knights of the Round, because you've got multiple things you can carry in that pouch. There are multiple spells that you can hang on to. Great thing is, it's also a game that you can play here. Let's cast it. There we go. I mean, the effects are fantastic. It looks great. It plays great. I'm very, very happy with this as a home version. And as you can hear, the music is not annoying. I'll be quiet for a second so you can have a little listen. I guess that gives you an idea. The music is just that nice kind of background music. It's not overly distracting. I find it a perfectly fine game. And honestly, the effects look great. The brawling is right out of Knights of the Round or King of Dragons, but without the annoying sound. Here, let's cast that spell. And I love the effects of casting the spells. Plus, you can carry multiple spells in your pouch, for lack of a better description. And as you can hear, the music is fine. It's about what I would want in the background playing while I was concentrating on the fighting. Anyway, yeah, really, really love this game. Highly recommend it. I got mine off a guy off Atari Age who was selling it. I don't know if it's a bootleg or what it is. It seems... The label on it doesn't really look like it's genuine, so I guess it's of questionable authenticity. And that is kind of, unfortunately, the history of the game. It may have been a bootleg anyway, but yeah, I regardless, I find it a great little brawler. So on that note, I'm going to end my review of this game. It is fantastic if you can find it, and the nice thing is the background music is not distracting. And it's a great little brawler. I love the effects, I love the music, I love the magic effects. Really, really great. So I'll end it off here. I'll say we'll see you down the rabbit hole. And for all the folks about to celebrate Chinese New Year, let me wish them a Gong Fa Kai, and we'll see you next time.